Vinyl community, Wings fans, random people on the internet, my name is Giggens, and we are here today to talk about Wings' 1976 number one album, Wings, at the Speed of Sound. Oh man, let's just get into this. Wings is Paul McCartney's band after the Beatles. They had a revolving door lineup beyond Linda and Denny. Um, People just couldn't hang around or either didn't get along with Paul or wanted more of a creative say in the group, and that just wasn't how it was at that time. Paul had his vision for what the band was going to be, and that was it. Um, After the Beatles broke up, Paul had kind of a rocky start, dabbing his toes into the water of solodom, and I think his first couple albums are great. I like McCartney. It's weird, it's quirky, and then Ram, I think, is fantastic. I think it's one of his best albums ever. Um, Red Rose Speedway is a real hit or miss. But then you get Band on the Run, which is fantastic. And then Venus and Mars was also a really great album. So you'd think by this point, the band is starting to gel. He's getting the group together. At this point, Joe English on drums, Jimmy McCullough on guitar, and they were there for the Venus and Mars era too. You would think by this point they'd be like, all right, top-notch material only. We got our core people here. Let's keep this going for as long as we can and put out some of the best stuff we can do. Not the case with this one. It really does sound like a rushed job to basically say, hey, we're going out on tour. We need to push something while we're out on tour. Let's get in the studio. I've got some songs. I got 2 great songs, and the rest are okay. Denny, what do you have? All right, cool. Let's make an album in a month or two. And this is what you got. Not my favorite Wings album at all. It's really, really not good. I mean, it's. I think London Town may have it beat for worst Wings album, but yeah, this thing went to number one for like 7 weeks or something. I mean, just because I guess it says Wings on it, people bought it. But just because something sells doesn't mean it's necessarily decent. So if you're a fan of this album, I do apologize. This review is going to be a little on the I'm not feeling it side, but that's how it goes sometimes. This is just my opinion, just a review. It's just the internet. It's just a video. If you don't agree with my views, that's totally cool. I'm not going to get upset because it's just an album and it's just the internet. There you go. So the first track on this album, Let 'Em In, was a single, and while it's not like the most exciting thing ever compared to Venus and Mars and Rock Show opening the other album, like that's a cool way to start an album. You get this like When I'm 64 Part 2 vibe with this thing, and it's real simple, kind of plods along, but it's got some charm to it, and it's unique, and there's something to it that definitely sticks in your head. For as sort of pedestrian and middle of the road as it is, it's still kind of a catchy song, no matter how simple it sounds. Again, not my favorite song, but definitely one of the best songs on the album. The Note You Never Wrote was written by Paul, and it's sung by Denny, and it's just not the next song. It shouldn't have been the next song. You got this, like, Let 'Em In is kind of this, like, slow woof of a song, and then you get, like, another downbeat, downtrodden song following it, and it's like, man, come on, man. The only thing that saves this song is Jimmy McCullough's kick-ass solo in the middle of it that really saves it. I mean, I feel like Jimmy was not utilized at all on this album, which is a damn shame because he was an excellent guitarist. He's the only thing that saves this song. I mean, for real, it's just okay of a song, Not that great. What was it? She's My Baby. Oh, man, this was a rough one. There's a line in this song that's like, gravy to the last drop, mopping it up or something like. What? Like even Ringo's going over there like I wrote better songs than that. It's just a little too simple and a little too phoned in. It just sounds like a rushed job. It sounds like they had an afternoon and they were like, let's just bust out a couple of songs, put it on vinyl, it'll sell. It says Wings, And if I'm wrong, then wow. But that's really what it sounds like. It's just like, put it out there. Who cares? Beware My Love. The version on Wings Over America is pretty good. But this version it doesn't end. It just doesn't end. Like, they just repeat "Beware My Love" a bajillion times, and it's like, just because you say something over and over again doesn't make it any good. It's not a bad song, but again, it just goes nowhere. This album is full of tracks that just go nowhere. You have these chords that are just so uninspired, and these chord progressions that just do nothing. It's background music. It doesn't do anything. I don't get it, man. Wino Junko is Jimmy's song that he wrote, and not the best out of the two he did with this band. The other one, Medicine Jar, was a lot better. But again, another like zero emotion track. It's kind of plods along. I don't understand why they could have looked back at the finishing of this album and been like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, cool, great. Sounds like something you put on when you're trying to fall asleep. Side 2, Silly Love Songs. Hallelujah, here's a song. It's got emotion, it's got conviction, it's got an enthusiasm, it's got a freaking bass line. This is the same guy who wrote the bass line to Rain, okay? Like, this whole album is full of this thump, 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 thump. Like, dude, you were so much better than that. Yeah, this song sounds fresh. It sounds like something's actually happening. It sounds like there's a conviction and a point. It sounds like there's a point to this song. Whereas so much of this album sounds like it could have been written by anybody else. Any of these songs would have just been given away. It's not to put this in a bad way, but it sounds like a lot of these songs could have been given to Ringo. And he could have made them spectacular in his Ringo way. Because a lot of the songs the Beatles gave to Ringo weren't their best, but Ringo worked with them to make them his own, and usually the results were a lot better because his touch was on it. So, I'm not saying that in a bad way at all. It just, yeah. Silly Love Songs. Excellent song. Thank you for being on this album. You saved this album. Cook of the House. This one, Linda sings this one, and it's kind of like a 50s sounding song with like sax and pianos and this like take it away boys kind of approach. And I like her vocals, I like her voice, but the lyrics are just kind of like cringeworthy and nauseating. It does nothing for me. Linda's voice is the only thing that saves this song for me. It's not that good. Time to Hide by Denny. This is a decent track. There's some confident vocals, there's a cool horn section, and the song actually kind of sounds like you'd want to hear it again. There's moments of it that remind me of Vanilla Fudge's cover of You Keep Me Hanging On, the Supreme song. And that's a compliment. But again, it's one of those songs where it's like, here, let's repeat the song title over and over again and jam for a minute, and that fills up time. Must Do Something. Joe, the drummer, sings this one, and Joe's got a pretty nice voice. It's been a long time since I've heard this album because I don't play it. It's not something I pull out and be like, hey, Wings at the Speed of Sound. All right, let's do this. And it's like, nope, right back in there. Joe's voice is cool. He's got a little bit of a soul to his voice, a little bit of an R&B vibe, and I use that term loosely because there's just such a lack of soul on this album that like anybody who even cares about what they're singing about instantly sounds like a soul singer on this thing. But again, another one of those songs where they just repeat the title a bajillion times and does nothing for me. So the next song, San Fairy Ann. The bass line is mind-numbingly stupid on this song. It's literally thump thump over and over again. And you think of songs like Nowhere Man, or you think of the bass line from Hey Bulldog, or hell, even anything on Band on the Run. I mean, it's like, he's so talented. And to hear him do something like that, even if you're trying to fit towards the mood of the song, or like, give a vibe to the song that would, facilitate a bass line like this, you shouldn't, because it sounds bad. If the bass line was a little more like awake, I bet the song would be pretty good. But again, the lyrics and the vocal delivery and just the chord progressions leads you into this territory of nothing's happening. Nothing is happening. Yeah, sad. And then the last song, Warm and Beautiful, there's a great song in there somewhere, but it doesn't like. I think its inclusion on this album as the last song was meant to be like this grand. Here's my sweet piano ending. Here's my second My Love. Here's my second Long and Winding Road type moment. Um, to make it sound like a cohesive unit and that this like beautiful ender to a fantastic album or something. It just falls completely flat. Um, I mean, the lyrics are okay. That's not the best thing he's ever written, but like, there's something in there. There's like a germ of an idea in there that I think if he or they, if they had worked on it a little more, I think it could have been a pretty decent song. Um, but on its own, it just sounds like a half-baked demo that doesn't really go anywhere. And I have said that for so many of these songs, but it's just that's just how it is. I mean, at the speed of sound, they must have recorded this thing in 2 days. I mean, I, the fact that they actually like the cover art of this thing, like they had this like set up with like these giant lights on this display. This isn't a picture. Like, I mean, they took a picture of this like display. Like they put a lot of effort into doing this, and the back cover is cool. I love the pictures on the back cover. That's pretty fun. But it doesn't save it from being just like this really boring album. Um, I love the Beatles. I love Paul McCartney. I think he's fantastic and one of the most amazing songwriters of this or any generation. I mean, you're gonna have speed bumps when you've made like 30 albums and more when you've had multiple bands or side projects. You're gonna have times where things aren't gonna work. And this was the first time I think they were ever just called Wings. Nope, I take that back. Venus and Mars was Wings. But this was the first time they had like a really democratic approach to the band. Everybody sings a song. A few of the people wrote songs, like Denny and Jimmy and Paul, all wrote songs for the album. So in that respect, that's really cool, and I'm glad that they did that just to see that it was possible. It reminds me of Weezer's Red album, where everybody had a moment on that album. Everybody sang, everybody wrote songs. And again, results on that album vary as well, but at least there's songs on that album with like a conviction and a purpose. This album just plods along. I mean, it really doesn't do anything. And it just blows my mind that it's a Paul McCartney album. Like, this is the same guy who made Band on the Run and Flaming Pie and Chaos and Creation in the Backyard and Flowers in the Dirt and Ram. Freaking Ram, man. Like, this is the same guy. But we're human. It's going to happen sometimes. You're not going to be your best all the time. I think it would be impossible to put out an amazing album every single time. I think that's pretty freaking rare. So, yeah, this, I haven't heard this whole album in years. And when I put it on and I started writing about it, I was like, I know why I don't listen to this album. I don't need to. I don't need to hear this album. I can put Let 'Em In and Silly Love Songs on a mix, and that's all I need. I don't need anything else on this album. And that's all that was played live when they toured. I think they did Beware My Love, and I think they also did Time to Hide. But yeah, that's all I've got on this one. Just ragging on it the whole time. Here's the record. I do like the labels. I think the labels are pretty sweet. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, that's about the coolest thing there is on this thing. So that's it. My name is Giggens. This has been Album Reviews with Wings at the Speed of Sound. And if I had to give this thing a rating, I honestly would probably give this thing like a 2 or a 3. Not the best thing they've ever made. At all, by far. They have way better albums, but I felt like I should review this thing just to show that it is possible for me to review albums less than a 10. So, yeah. Wings at the Speed of Sound. What do you guys think of it? Do you like it? Do you think it's worthy of top 10 status of Paul's solo albums, or how do you feel about it? Is there a nostalgia factor tied in? All of that. Let me know in the comments below. Or if you're on a phone, I guess, well, it'd be below too. Anyways, my name is Giggens. This has been Album Reviews. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.